Everybody, what's going on? This is Chris Flowers. Here's the deal. Today on the show, I get to have a very special guest because my friend Robyn is coming on. Robyn Bowles, she's with Schoolie Mitchell, and she is the vendor watchdog. So she's here to help clients, save money with, vendors that they use. We're going to get more into that into the show, but this is definitely another mission essential. If you own a business, you want to get the best price you can. As usual, here's the deal is brought to you by Litchfield Auto. They're located here in Goodyear. They're at 671 North 137th Avenue. And again, I got to tell you, like I said, been going there for well over 10 years. Any car you got from a Nissan to a Mercedes, Phil and his team are going to keep it on the road. At least there's one fair and honest mechanic. And I can attest to that. Like I said, I preferred many people there. I'm very comfortable. I refer any family, friends, anybody to Litchfield Auto. So, like I said, if you're in need of a mechanic, definitely go check these guys out. So, like I said, I want to introduce Robyn. And like I said, she's with Schoolie Mitchell. She's going to turn her camera and her microphone on and she's going to join the show. What
Hey,
is
Chris.
happening, Robyn?
Not much. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Robyn and I go back a little ways. We met at BNI, and then we also are in another networking group called H7 that she runs. She runs the Phoenix chapter. So if you're looking for a virtual networking group, Robyn runs it. Good to go there. She's also part of the Bills Mafia that she's trying to recruit me to, but I'm a diehard Giants fan, even though they suck. But hey, you got to stick with what works. She's trying to recruit me to Bills Mafia, but it's not going to happen.
I'll do my best.
I do like Josh Allen, though. I do like him as quarterback, but
That's my second favorite Josh.
right. Okay, so like I said, Robyn's with Schoolie Mitchell, they're the vendor watchdog. So why don't you tell us a little bit about more, what you do at Schoolie Mitchell, and you can explain it, far better than I can.
Absolutely. So, Schoolie Mitchell's been around for about 30 years. We're headquartered in Toronto, and we are actually North America's largest independent cost reduction firm. So, we're vendor agnostic. I'm not a broker, I'm not a reseller, I'm not a group purchasing organization. We negotiate better rates for each individual client that we have. So, the reason to work with us, we've had 27,000 clients and we've saved them over $600 million. So we have a
Wow.
proven track record. Our average savings is 26 to 28%. So that's
Wow.
not savings a business is going to be able to get on their own. It's
No,
just not. Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And we get
so,
paid at the back end. We get paid by splitting the savings 50-50. So our goals are aligned with the business owner's goals.
mhm,
The more we save them, the more money we make. And then the more their sales go up, the more money we make. So we also become a social media advocate for them, a sales advocate for them. Like I want their business to thrive for a number of reasons.
wow, that's awesome. And so what type of vendors do you work with for the client? Because
Mhm.
obviously business is a lot of different vendors. So explain that a little more.
Yeah, there's about 16 different, we call them cost categories. So it can be anything from telecom and merchant services all the way through UCaaS, which is kind of a technology platform for telecom, SaaS licenses, fuel, uniforms, linen, shipping, waste, 16
Wow.
different areas. We've been leaning heavily into shipping lately. We do SPS, LTL, and shipping and packaging supplies.
Oh, wow. That's so pretty much across the spectrum, any vendor that you got you can negotiate a far better price.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have the volume and then we have the market knowledge. And I think to sum it up, I was talking to a business owner and they were complaining about their vendors. I hate these people. They're awful. I know I'm overpaying. Their service is terrible. And I said, well, have you ever thought of changing vendors? He goes, I don't have time for that. And I wouldn't even know where to start. And I said, exactly. That's what we do.
So would you help a vendor change, or would you help a client change vendors? I mean, you have like any kind of like recommendations on that, or you just hold their current vendors to task and get them right?
Always start with incumbent vendors
Hmm.
first because we do want people to stay with their vendor because switching vendors is it's a pain in the butt. No matter what you do, if you have to switch a vendor, it's painful. We'd like people to stay with their current vendor, but we always also present them options for different vendors. Sometimes incumbents won't negotiate. There are certain vendors, particularly in the merchant services area, that just say, not going to negotiate, go someplace else. So that happens, but we always try to bring an outside vendor as well, because, in addition to costs, sometimes there's service issues,
Mm.
or just a business owner just goes, I just don't trust these guys anymore.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I think, even people, they want to work with who they want to work with. They want to feel like they're valued and they want to, trust who they're working with. And that's just one more value add that you bring. Not only are you there to help them currently with their current vendors, but you can also help them maybe even find other vendors. Like, like I said, if somebody's a business owner, they're, a mechanic or they're an accountant or what, they don't have time to go shopping all this stuff and things like that, which is makes you that much more of a value add.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they would, like I said, that guy was accurate. That he wouldn't know where to go. What would he do? Go
Yeah.
out and Google vendors? I mean, that's not how you're going to find the best prices.
No, that's awesome. No, so yeah, I definitely really appreciate that. So what do you think have been some of your biggest challenges, in this space?
I think getting people to understand that we're actually a very easy lift. I think anytime people hear the words consulting, they start thinking about how time consuming and intrusive I'm going to be. And actually, the opposite is true. I need maybe 60 to 90 minutes of someone's time, and then 3 months of invoices. If it's technology, I might need pictures, save the phone equipment or the card readers. And that's it. We're off and running. I'm not coming in. I'm not digging through your P&L. I'm not out on the shop floor, doing time studies. It's a very easy lift.
You're not digging into P&Ls like I do and things like that.
Yeah, no, not at all. I need to know how much you're paying for vendors and what services you're getting and what services you want. But other than that, I don't need to be in your P&L.
Okay. And then you offer maybe some recommendation, maybe if there's something that they're not currently doing, say, hey, I notice here you're not don't have this type of a account, like things like that. You might maybe recommend that also.
Yeah, or a process change. We might say, you're using this and that for video conferencing and this and that phone system. Why don't we just put it all in one system? Or I have a client right now, they are paying Microsoft, Adobe, and Google every
Wow.
month. And I said,
Wow.
why are you doing that? So we're going to try to find a way to, at least maybe eliminate one of those vendors. Or if you take merchant services, you're taking credit cards. A lot of businesses don't know that the way you take that card determines in some ways the rate you pay.
Oh
So we
yeah.
might give someone advice and say, instead of doing it like this, why don't you try that? Because you would save money on that. So if there's process changes we can make, same thing with shipping, we're going to advise them as to how to make those changes to save the most money.
Yeah, it's huge because you can, yeah, hand key in a card or something like that, you're gonna pay a lot more than if it's, an insert or something. Yeah, things like that. So,
Absolutely. And finding integrations, when it comes to merchant services, one of the biggest things is, I've got this other system. How's it going to integrate, and who, if I can get an integration, who will integrate with me? So, those are things that we work through as well, because, a lot of systems now understand that they need to be more open and let other credit card processors in the back end.
because
But there still are some that won't do that. So we can help figure that out.
there's some vendors out there like, oh, I don't take Amex or, things like that, or, so talking about like situations like that.
Yeah, or the actual processor themselves. So a lot of CRM systems, and I'm not going to name the system, but one I'm familiar with probably was an inexpensive purchase up front for a home services vendor. But on the back end, he did not realize he had no choice when it came to credit card processing. He was locked into that CRM, no changes. Rate
Wow.
went up every year at least, if not every 6 months.
Wow.
No way to get him out of that other than say, you have to walk away from that CRM. And by the way, they're not going to give you those credit card numbers you have on file. You're going to have to go to every client and get that number
Mm.
again. And he literally said, I don't have time to do that. I'll just have to
Nope.
pay whatever they charge me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
kind of
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Something for business owners to be aware of is any system you purchase that's integrating with other parts of your business, make sure you have some flexibility.
So they have like, I mean, because like I said, a lot of people just say, hey, I just got to take what they give me. So you're going to, you can maybe talk to them about how, you're going to negotiate that kind of a system, away from that, maybe that have a little more, not only saving the price, but also in the flexibility and things like that also.
Yeah, we can, our merchant services team, our teams at home office in general are very narrow but very deep. So we have a merchant services team, and I can email the manager of that team with almost any point of sale system, um, if, healthcare record system, anything like that, and say, can we integrate with this? Can we find a new processor? Will that system let us do that? And she'll know immediately. But we're also starting to get into building some of those integrations where they make sense. You know, if you have a high volume and you're paying a lot of money every year in credit card fees, you know, it might make sense to build an integration and go with a different processor. But we can at least tell you up front, like, yeah, we can do that. Or, you know, in that case of that guy, I had to say, sorry, we can't do that. You're stuck.
Hmm. So I think that's the other thing. People they get into these situations they don't realize like, yeah, this is proprietary and you're not getting out of it, and that's rough.
Absolutely. And I can see exactly what he did. He looked at a bunch of different CRMs. This one was probably the cheapest monthly fee, and that's what he went with because he didn't know what was on the back end.
Mhm. So you can work with clients obviously even prior to getting started. Maybe say, hey, maybe a newer type of business, and say, okay, hey, I know I need all these different services. Is that maybe something you can help with more on the front end rather than try to clean up the mess on the back end, or
We're better on the back end only
Hmm,
because businesses then have a little bit more volume to work with.
true.
Now, I can help on the front end answering questions and giving general advice.
Hmm.
But to really be able to negotiate, we have to have a little bit of volume to take to those vendors.
Okay. So who is your customer base?
Um, I would say, you know, honestly, we're industry agnostic. We can work obviously across a number of different industries. I prefer to probably work with businesses in the 2 to 3 million and up. Having said that, I'll work with businesses smaller than that if they have a trusted advisor. So if there's a business coach that knows me or a fractional CFO that knows me and says, can you come in and help my client? I'll do that because that client already has that relationship. Like
Mhm.
they've used somebody outside their organization, and quite honestly, that service provider can vouch for the client. Like, are they going to be up to the task here and they really want to do this? Then I'll do it.
Hmm. Okay. Oh, that's cool. So what is it that sets Schoolie Mitchell apart from anybody else out there, other than yourself, of course?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Well, I would say, you know, obviously is versus someone trying to do it on their own. You don't have the time, you don't have the expertise, and you certainly don't have the volume to get 26 to 28%. So when people say, well, we'll do it on our own, I wish them the best of luck.
Good luck with that. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, there's also, you know, the big box consulting companies can say they'll come in and do it, but then you are talking about an expensive, very intrusive look at cost reduction, where again, we can do it much easier with a much easier lift. I would say that's our advantages. It's a much easier lift to work with us and get things done. And then the other thing I would say is compared to some of our direct competitors, we actually project manage the implementation. So even if it's staying with
Hmm.
the same vendor, we're going to make sure the rates got implemented correctly. We're going to make sure the billing's right. All those things that happen after you save someone money, you still need to make sure it got implemented right.
Right. Yeah. That's the other key. If it's not up and running, they're losing business. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's all
even
great
if
to save somebody money on paper, but until the rubber hits the road, they want to see that savings.
yeah, nope, they got to see the savings, and if it's a system's not functioning, they're not saving a dime. They're
Exactly.
losing money.
Exactly.
Okay, so I mean, even like vendors like you know Verizon, T-Mobile, all those guys, you can work with all those guys. Things like because a cell phone like Verizon's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
nuts.
Telecom is landlines, which are a lot of VoIP, obviously, cell phones, internet connections. So telecom for us is all of those things.
Cool. Okay, that's cool. So that's a huge expense. Like a lot of times, like oh my god, yeah, these guys are.
Yeah, yeah. And especially too, we can help monitor those accounts because, you start getting into a company that might have 50, 75 cell phones, what'll happen is people lose track of them. So,
Mhm.
geez, Chris left the company 6 months ago. Well, you know what? You've been paying for Chris's cell phone for 6 months. So we can help manage some of that as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, didn't even think about that. See, that's what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that. We have proprietary software that monitors the monthly invoices for our clients. So the software could say, Hey, there's been 5 phones that haven't had any usage
Mm,
in 3 months. What do you want us to do, Chris? You want us to shut them off for you?
that's huge,
Yeah.
man. That's amazing.
Same thing with shipping. People pay extra money to ship something to arrive early. You can tell from the invoice if it actually arrived early or not, but nobody has time to pour through those invoices.
Mm.
But our software can pick that up and say, you paid extra for a 9 a.m. delivery. It was a 1 p.m. delivery. You're owed a
Oh,
partial refund. And we can go to the vendor directly and get that refund.
wow, that's huge. Didn't think
Yeah.
about that either, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff for businesses to track, and nobody has the manpower to be tracking that stuff.
Mm. Except for Schoolie Mitchell, right?
That's right.
That's awesome. Okay, so is there anything we haven't covered that maybe you want to talk about? Maybe you got something going on, with the company or things like that, or
Yeah, the only other thing I want to say is that we're risk free on the front end. So let us come in and take a look. We'll give you a value report. It doesn't cost you a dime because we split the savings on the back end.
Mhm.
Getting that analysis, it's cost free. So why not do it? See what we can save you. Look at our recommendations and make a choice if you want us to implement those recommendations or not. So we're not asking you for a retainer up front like a lot of consultants do. We get paid on the back end.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, that's pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible. So, Robyn, how do they get a hold of you? How do they, give me your your phone number, email, whatever,
Yep.
like so that way they can give you a look.
Yep. On LinkedIn, but they can also email me, Robyn, ROBYN .Bowles, BOWLES at schooleymitchell.com.
All right. All right. Well, once again, yeah, we just want to say thanks to Robyn for, taking time out of her day, to come on the show and things like that, educate our listeners. Like I said, I've always enjoyed working with her, known her for a while now. We've been through a couple networking functions together, things like that. So, like I said, I'd highly recommend you talk to Robyn. Definitely, refer her out because like she is what she is, and she does a fantastic job for her clients, and like I said, I certainly appreciate it. So again, thank you, Robyn, for your time. And then like I said, hopefully we'll have you on again real soon, and we can talk about more about things that are going on in the industry.
So we're not going to talk any football today.
Well, I don't know what the Giants are going to do with that pick. Hopefully, like I said,
The
we
draft night's going to be very interesting. I'm really looking forward to the draft this year.
yeah, that's funny. Like I said, but I mean, it would take Jesus himself to to resurrect the Giants at this point. So, hey, I just got to deal with what I got. I mean, hey, but we got a good coach. I mean, so, there, as far as
Yep.
that
Not
goes.
a lot of there's a lot of coaches and general managers that are on a very short leash this season, so should be
Yeah,
fascinating.
Debo's going to be one of them, though. You better start doing something, but they got to give him something to work with, too, because, but
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you,
well,
Chris. I appreciate the opportunity.
absolutely. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your time. And once again, like I said, I'll see you around the corner real soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Robyn.
Bye-bye.
All right. And then, as always, we like to say, like to close out the show. And well, I want to thank Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, for saving me and then giving me the ability to do this show. And I want to thank my wife and family and friends for supporting me doing the show. And of course, I want to thank the sponsors, but I definitely want to thank the subscribers and the listeners. So, like I said, stay tuned. We're gonna have more guests like Robyn on, lots of other industry interviews, very essential business services that your company is going to need, whether you're starting a business or whether you're in business. Like I said, there's definitely things that you still need to learn and grow with. So that's it for Here's the Deal. See you next time.